Sometimes the idea of living the life of a Christian and getting to heaven can be kind of intimidating because it seems like you have to live up to a lot of different rules and teachings. It doesn't help that most of the saints that we regularly hear about are seemingly incredibly virtuous and holy people. However, our gospel today gives us a sense that it is not what we do that gets us into heaven. In fact, our gospel today gives us the impression that more important than what we do is simply having trust and confidence in God. So let's set up the scene from the gospel. Jesus and the disciples are seated, simply watching people place their money in the treasury. Now, a little history lesson here. This treasury was like a line of a number of different buckets within the temple, okay? And each of the metal buckets had a different purpose. So it would be as if we set up a bunch of buckets over here by the Holy Family Shrine, and there was one for caring for the school, caring for the liturgical needs of the parish, caring for the youth group, so on and so forth. Now, all of the coinage at the time, the coins that they put in, was metal. So the more you dropped in, the more you'd be noticed. So imagine you had, say, Bill Gates, Baker Mayfield, Elon Musk. They all walk in and dump a bunch of money in. There'd probably be some pretty substantial clunks between the metal coins and the metal buckets. It would be very impressive, and it would be easily noticed by all who were anywhere near these buckets that collected the coins. Now, after that took place, imagine you have Mother Teresa quietly approach the buckets and drop two tiny little coins in with a light clink. Clunk versus clink. It'd be super unimpressive, and nobody would notice unless you knew Mother Teresa to be the all-star that she is. Now, most of us would assume that the more valuable gifts were the clunks, not the clinks. However, Jesus flips the scene on its head, pointing out to us that the Mother Teresa gift was worth more than the wealthy folks' gift. Now, this is not to say that large gifts and rich people are bad. Remember, all analogies do fall short in some way. But the lesson that Jesus is trying to give us today is that trust and confidence in God are far more valuable than all the money in the world. The widow who gave 2 small coins gave what she had, literally 2 small coins, trusting that God would provide everything for her. And remember, widows at this time in Jesus' day, they had virtually no rights. Once their husbands died, they lost income, they lost status in society, they literally were viewed as less than a person. So the trust that it took for the widow to place her money in the treasury, this is called the widow's might. Her strength, her might, came not from her material wealth, but from her trust and her confidence that God would provide. So for us today, I think Jesus is inviting us to be a little bit more like the widow and to find our strength in him. If you struggle with loneliness, perhaps give that loneliness to Jesus and ask him to fill that for you. If you struggle in providing for your family, it's tough to make ends meet, give him that ache and ask him to assist you. If you struggle with a particular sin, tell Jesus about it and ask him to give you the strength to resist temptation. If you struggle with self-confidence, give it to Jesus and ask him to reveal to your heart his love for you. In a very real way, I know many members of our parish are struggling either with health or with a loved one who's struggling with health. If you find yourself in this situation, trust and confidence are the greatest tools we can have because they are the exact opposite of what we are inclined to do in these moments. The inclination, I think, is to panic, to worry, to wonder. But trust and confidence are direct attacks against this, and Jesus can use them in extremely meaningful ways to bring about peace in our lives and in the lives of our loved ones. The simple act of inviting him into these seemingly menial things is so meaningful, and it pleases Jesus very much. So like the widow, all of us have areas of poverty in our lives. These are real opportunities for us to place our trust and confidence in Jesus' strength and not in our own. Because we all know that by our own strength, we can very easily and very often fall short. However, when we place our trust and confidence in Jesus, we can have trust and confidence that he will care for us in every moment of our lives until we see him one day in heaven.